I think you put the wrong date on yesterday's video.
Oh yeah, I fixed it. So thanks. Appreciate that. I sound like why two, 2000 kids. Then I fixed it today. So
Yeah, thank you.
So thanks for catching that. Hey, see, how are you? You're on mute. Can't hear you.
I'm good. How are you? Long time no see.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I was in between. I was traveling, so we didn't meet. And then I think last we resumed it from 2 weeks ago. So yeah,
okay.
so we're back on schedule. Yeah. So I did see last week, I think there were 3 or 4 people. We don't have too much crowd. Looks like the crowd waxes and wanes as per what's happening in the market, but that's okay. I continue to see a lot of development happening here, a lot of exciting stuff. So, so what have you been watching?
To be honest, like in terms of the for crypto, I've just been looking at Bitcoin and ETH, not much on the other coins,
Okay.
but keeping an eye out on the projects with on the new projects. One of them was like one of the news that really shocked me was, Adam Newman. He came out with his new Web3, was it Web3 NFT project? Oh wait,
Don't even ask me. It has got all the buzzwords. It has got everything. It's got a carbon, it's got a digitization, it's got a blockchain. Hold on, let me just share the screen. It's got all the possible new buzzwords in it. Adam and Rebecca, they came up with, they raised some $70 million.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw it the other day and I was like, are you kidding me?
So it's about some carbon credit stuff.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, this is under Bloomberg, so may not have access to it. Let
me see if I can get one.
Yeah, TechCrunch should be good.
Yeah, TechCrunch is good.
So the company name is Flow Carbon.
Yeah.
Flow Carbon.
70
so it
million.
will sell tokenized carbon credits on the blockchain.
But that's not new, right? That's something I bought MCO2 on Gemini as well.
So, I mean, carbon credit is pretty common in terms of what they do. But one issue which always have in terms of carbon credits is how do you even track that the credit that you're receiving from another organization is actually they reduce the carbon footprint. Right? So that's a big problem in carbon credits. So I understand probably what they're trying to do. It's currently a big problem in overall carbon credit industry is how, for example, Tesla goes and buy carbon credit from GM. GM has gotten and bought a carbon credit from some company in Asia who has promised that they will plant certain number of trees on behalf of GM every year. And hence GM will earn the carbon credit, right? Now, how do you track it? So right now, this whole business of carbon credit is pretty loosey-goosey stuff, wishy-washy stuff, because nobody's going to go and check in some place in Indonesia whether the trees are there or not. So there are some companies in crypto who are using blockchain to basically track this whole carbon credits. So I think what Adam is doing is just getting into the same, I mean, this is not the first one. So there is a project, I think it's called Tree, something like that. They are already doing this. I don't know, it's on some different blockchain. I don't think it's on Ethereum, but it is on some of the others. So this is a problem, and let's see. I mean, anything Adam does, it has got more. I don't know. I mean, after the WeWork experience, people are more cautious around what Adam does. So overall,
Vivek,
yeah.
I took a class 30 years ago, 29 years ago.
Yeah.
It was on carbon credits. It was a lawyer, I think, at PMS, Pillsbury, Madison, and Sutro or something like that. But he was teaching about they were trying to develop carbon credits in San Francisco, in California, and that was 29 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, this whole concept of carbon credit and the ESG in current shape is a gold mine for attorneys and for kind of someone who can certify some stuff.
Hey, should we buy some? I mean, can we buy some?
Buy what?
Carbon credits.
Cool, but where would you use that?
Well, it's just like Tesla. We try to trade it on the exchange.
Yeah, but Tesla would not buy from individuals.
No. Tesla sells it to someone like Ford.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Tesla actually sells it. Tesla doesn't buy it. Tesla sells it because they are carbon. They are positive.
No, so what do you think of trading? I mean, I was thinking about this 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I have a small brain, and that's the only thing I think about is trading.
No, I think as a retailer, there are a lot of other opportunities for us rather than trying to get into these exotic instruments. See, today market, right? All green. Yesterday was all red. So a big change in the markets today. Crypto side, I don't think crypto is equally. Crypto is that good. Still, Bitcoin is. I mean, it's been on this range for quite some time. It's a time to huddle down, and build some cool stuff. So last week we reviewed that A16Z State of Crypto 2022 report. That was their first report that they came out with. I have decided maybe every week, at least for my own personal self, I'll do some long reading every week, whether it is on the crypto side, whether it is on the stock side. So I'll share what I plan to read this weekend. If it fancies you, you may also go ahead and spend some time in reading. But a few things that caught my eye today. I thought maybe we can quickly go through it, unless there are a few other points that we want to bring up for discussion. Always open for that. But CZ is becoming, more bullish around this whole Bitcoin. So saw a note from CZ. But what caught my eye more is now more and more social media companies are now integrating NFTs. Facebook, or I don't know. I can't call that company Meta just yet. For me, it's still Facebook. So they announced they're gonna integrate NFTs into Instagram, and now it's a YouTube is gonna integrate NFTs into YouTube itself, which kind of makes sense because the YouTubers, their videos are being sold by someone else on some platforms. So kind of makes sense that if we are a content creator on YouTube, rather than YouTube taking the whole share and you getting paid like peanuts, it could actually convert your content into NFT and sell it on YouTube itself, rather than take your content onto some other platform and then selling it. So this a quote came from the CEO of YouTube, but I think essentially, to me, it looks like in mid 1990s, every company was faced with a question, what's your internet strategy? And every company started with, okay, are we going to create our own website? Because that was the first thing to do. And then, that's how everything started. What's your internet strategy? It's a website. And now I'm seeing more and more traditional companies will be asked, answering these questions. What's your metaverse strategy? Right? And the companies that have a lot of content will be talking about what's your NFT strategy. So Instagram has come up with it. YouTube has come up with it. Maybe Spotify would be the next. Would then start to say, okay, we have a lot of content creators on our platform. And the question that asked would be to Spotify would be, guys, what's your NFT strategy? Otherwise, these creative content creators will move on to other platform where they can have more control on their own content. So it will be interesting to see. I don't know. It might take a few years, but I think this is a question that every business will have to start answering, starting from corporate. It always flows from corporate. Is what's your the brands, the companies that are with big brands company will have to answer, what's your metaverse strategy? The company which has got a lot of content creators, what's your NFT strategy? So
can I contribute?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't understand like all these big let's say YouTube and going into NFT marketplace, because there are so many NFT marketplaces out there, from OpenSea and another one I can't remember, but there are even companies which specialize in helping these companies make their own NFT. So I don't like, in the end you'll just have so many different marketplaces with their own protocols, and in the end the biggest player will win, right? Like right now it's OpenSea.
So I think so right now the biggest generator of the content is YouTube. It's got even more content than what Netflix has when it comes to the streaming. And you're right, there are many platforms. There are other platforms who basically allows you to create NFTs. So if I'm a very successful YouTuber and I want to create my own NFT video, today the option is I go to OpenSea, I'll go to Rarible, I'll go to LooksRare, right? And create an NFT there. So what YouTube is saying, why not we do it, so that instead of the other NFT platforms capturing that value from the content creators, whereas we have the content already, it'll be easier for content creators to just create an NFT here itself, and we'll be able to capture whatever premium, that 3% or 5% premium that those NFT platforms are taking. So rather than having your creators go to other platform and do the same stuff, right? So for YouTube, they have to build this NFT platform, and then it becomes, then why would any content creator go to OpenSea? I mean, it's much easier for me.
It makes sense from like the supply perspective, but like if you're an NFT enthusiast, then why go to a marketplace that only specializes in video and short form video? Whereas if you go NFT marketplace, there's like music, there's video, and there's pictures, and there's art.
Because as a content creator, I mean, I'm thinking from a perspective of content creator, not someone who's trying to buy NFT. As a content creator, I specialize only in video content. I'm a rap singer, so I'll specialize only in that. We don't have someone who is best in, is best rap singer as well as he's a good artist. So from that perspective, I think it as a creator makes sense. Yes, as a buyer, if I am interested in buying different type of NFTs, then YouTube will only give me the video related stuff, right? So that makes sense. But I think it's more coming from a creator perspective. They want to capture that value. And I won't be surprised if Spotify comes with this, because Anyway, I think Tidal is already starting to do that. If they don't do it, Tidal will start to, and with now Tidal became part of Twitter, and with Jay-Z, I mean, they'll start to attract. So I won't be surprised if some of these other streaming platforms start to offer these creating your own NFT functionality on their platforms. Some news around Bitcoin ETF came in today. ARK Invest and 21 shares, I think that's their subsidiary or something like that, or maybe a joint partnership. They're trying their luck again. They submitted an application for a Bitcoin ETF to SEC on May 13th, but the news was out today. So SEC had already rejected their previous application in April. Now they have made some changes and filing it again. We'll see what happens. This is one area where I think it's been 2020 when Wall Street firms became more hopeful that we will get an ETF, but then they realized it's not going to come anytime sooner, especially the spot ETF. Future ETFs are abound. There are many, but I think the recent one that was approved by SEC made other teams more hopeful that their ETF application may get approved. So there's little more technicalities in terms of there are two separate SEC regulations under which these ETFs get approved. The recent one that got approved was under a different regulation, which made many of these ETF issuers more hopeful that they will be able to persuade SEC to approve an ETF. But if that doesn't happen, Grayscale is ready to legally, to initiate a legal fight with SEC. I don't think I've seen this before, taking SEC to the court to approve their ETF. But I think there's a lot of money riding behind this, and Grayscale is, and their lawyers are getting ready to take SEC to court, if need be. That will be an interesting fight to watch. I would be pretty much interested to see what lawyers have to say in this, and why would Grayscale not take them to court? Look at their value, the discount value on their trust, right? I mean, 30%. I'm sure this will can sponsor all the legal fee if they eventually win against SEC. The GBTC is being traded at 30% discount over the value, under the value of the Bitcoin that they have. So might as well try your best, take SEC to the court in a hope that you will net judgment and your Grayscale's ETF application gets approved. That would be windfall for GBTC holders, right? So it's like you can get the stuff at 30% cheaper. So we'll see. I know Grayscale had initiated a campaign on getting signatures of GBTC holders on the SEC website, because SEC invites public comments before they decide to approve or not approve any of the decisions or the applications. So GBT's Grayscale, have reached out to GBTC holders saying, go to SEC website and basically ask SEC to approve the Bitcoin ETFs. But if this does goes into the court, will be a fight that I will definitely be interested in tracking to see what happens. And I think GBTC is not the only one. I just tweeted like maybe half an hour ago around MicroStrategy. So today, MicroStrategy market cap is 2.54 billion, close to 2.55 billion. But they hold Bitcoins on their balance sheet. And the value of the balance sheet, the value of the Bitcoin that they hold on their value sheet, on their balance sheet, is 3.7 billion. So I don't know, is this a value play or is this a value trap? If someone buys MicroStrategy, if someone buys 100% of MicroStrategy, today they pay 2.54 billion and they get 3.7 billion worth of Bitcoins as of today's price. Tomorrow, this could be anywhere. We know this market is very volatile. It will go down to 3 billion, 2 billion, who knows? Or it could go down to 7 billion.
Vivek.
Yeah.
A few days ago, I was looking at news, I guess, from like 20, 25 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Saylor was still the CEO of MicroStrategy.
So he has been the longest CEO of a public company. He's been there for many decades. Is he a
loser or a winner or just undetermined?
Oh, he has it because he owns most of the shares. So there's no one who could actually push him out. That is the reason why he could do this whole Bitcoin stuff. Because
what was he doing before the dot-com bust?
Oh, I think he's been in. Let's look at Michael Saylor. I think he's been in this business for now 30 or 40 years. He's been the longest serving CEO. All right. Born in 1965, MicroStrategy using, so before that he was with DuPont. Okay, 83, he went to MIT. Then he couldn't become pilot, so he joined a job with a consulting firm focused on computer simulation or software integration. 1998, became consultant at DuPont, and he developed computer models. And then using his money from DuPont, he started MicroStrategy with Sanju Bansal, his MIT fraternity brother Okay. All right. So he's been with MicroStrategy ever since, I think since 1991 or 92. And he's been the CEO since then. So he owns majority of the shares. When I say majority, he really owns big chunk of the share, and that is why he's been able to do what he has done in terms of the whole Bitcoin stuff. The board of directors hands kind of tied. They can't replace him. So good or bad, if his bet works out, it's been great. If it doesn't, then it's doomed. But yeah, he's been he owns like more than 40% shares maybe. So he is a big one of the biggest shareholders.
Vivek.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we talk about Terra's revival plan?
I haven't been even tracking Terra because I don't like that project. I never really could understand how they were trying to maintain that peg. So when it blew up, I mean, it was a matter of time. So so I haven't had any interest. I didn't never held any Luna or Terra because I could never really understand the huge amount of.
Oh, you didn't hold any Terra?
No, never. So I know, I think, yeah, because I mean, I could never figure out how they were paying 19% on Anchor. Right. So I've never interested, and you know, I in this case, I think it's fortunately that I'm slow to build my investment thesis, and I don't have to give into any FOMO. I could never really build my conviction around what Luna has and why it is better. Why are they able to give so much 19% return to their customers? I mean, in non-blockchain world, we call it as a Ponzi scheme. Right. I don't know in Terra, you know, Terra or Luna was really that, but then I, you know, little bit of a when I tried to find out, I came to realize that the more, you know, so generally if you look at, you know, on let's say BlockFi or on Aave or on Celsius, if you are staking something, if you're staking a stable coin, you can get 6 to 7%.
Yeah.
Many other projects will give you 9%, 9 to 10%, but that is kind of the max. So what came to know later was the Luna Foundation Guard. They were actually taking a marketing expense against their foundation to give that additional 9% because they wanted to attract more and more UST, you know, wanted to incentivize people to buy UST and stake it on Anchor protocol. To me, that's a big red flag, right? Is that their main incentive was to basically, the foundation was giving money so that they can maintain the 90% return and keep the interest alive in UST. And when you buy UST, they would burn Luna. When you burn Luna, the supply goes down, and we will think, okay, it means, you know, the Luna will go up. So little fishy stuff happening, and then the whole peg maintained by arbitragers, which are humans. And what if net? I never had any conviction. So I never followed it, and I know now they're trying to revive it, but I'm like, come on, you lost your reputation once. Now the fact that a small group of people can actually figure out the future of this blockchain, it means it is completely controlled by a company. I mean, it's just like any other micro cap company. I would rather invest in the penny funds. Why do I need, if it's a similar kind of exposure and risk, if I have to depend on Do Kwon or a few validators or miners who can shut down the blockchain whenever they want to, who can then decide, you know, to roll back or decide on the future of it, very few people, then it's a penny stock. Then I would rather go and invest on, you know, penny stock in the stock market. Why would I be doing it on a blockchain? So I stopped, you know, I didn't, I've kind of given up on Terra. I mean, everything they're trying to do now to me looks like a gimmick, because it tells me that it is not at all decentralized, because few people are deciding the fate.
Like they were saying, like the part where they had to have the the USDT coming in from the LFG Foundation to prop up the peg, and it was meant to be automated, but apparently what happened was Do Kwon acted too late to actually prop up the peg by injecting liquidity. I think the fact that he had to do it like himself as opposed to like it being an automated system.
Yeah,
I think that is really.
And here's my, I think the Do Kwon knew that this day will come, and that is why.
Oh really?
Otherwise, why would he? If it was already, we had an automated system of pegging, maintaining the peg, Why would he buying $10 billion worth of Bitcoin to back up USD? Wasn't it backed up by this whole pegging mechanism already? So that gives me feeling that they knew that in some cases of these extreme, it will happen, but what nobody realized that it will come so soon before they could build up the reserve asset of Bitcoin. I think they bought only $3.50 worth of Bitcoin. And they tried to then basically sell Bitcoin and buy the USD, but it was too late.
Yeah.
It was too late. So this thing happened way sooner before they could, back up the USD with a Bitcoin reserve. So
thankfully your exposure isn't much.
Sorry?
Oh, you didn't have much. And thankfully you didn't have exposure.
Oh, I didn't have even $1 of USD or Luna. No, not even $1. But I was interested to understand how they're maintaining peg, because this is not the first algorithmic backed stable coin. I have seen 2 more gone under. I think one of them we had talked about it, something called Iron Finance or something. So I was always intrigued on this algorithmic based stable coin because I've seen 2 of them failing. So I was like, okay, let me understand how this was. So my interest was purely academic in that. And unfortunately, I wasn't really able to convince myself that why would this algorithmic will work. And my conviction of it won't work became even stronger when they started to buy Bitcoin. I'm like, okay, if the backers are buying Bitcoin to back their USD, it means they themselves think that some point of a time, just the algorithm won't work. We need to back it up with something else. So
how about Tether? What do you think of Tether?
For?
So Tether has
Tether
backed up as well.
Okay,
Tether, sorry.
Tether. So Tether has a backing, but the all concern of Tether has always been what kind of a reserves do you hold? So they do hold commercial papers, they do hold treasury bills, they do hold cash. Now, I think so the concerns with Tether that have been on what quality is your commercial paper. Commercial paper means you are basically holding a bond offered by a company. If I'm holding a bond on my balance sheet, which is an Apple's bond, that's pretty good. That's as good as, let's say, US Treasury, which is the risk, the most, which is considered the safest asset. But if I'm holding a commercial paper from, let's say, Evergrande of China's, then that's not really, a good commercial paper. So the concern that the community had on USDT, on Tether was, what kind of commercial paper do you hold? But I think the latest report, that they have shared, is now they've reduced. At some point of a time, they had more than 50% in commercial paper, and without any information on what kind of commercial paper that was. And I think probably they did not have so they did not have a good commercial paper, so they never released which are the companies. But now in the recent one, I think last week I heard they released updated, but I never looked at it. So let's look at it now. USD Tether. They released they released a new report in which they actually reduced their commercial paper. There we go. It came on 19th. So they increased treasury bills, which is considered to be the safest asset. They increased it to 13%, and commercial paper fell 17% to 20 billion. So now they have more treasury bill than commercial paper. I think the company, the Tether, understood that if they do not, do not have the better quality of reserves, everyone will start using USDC, because USDC by Circle is 100% either treasury or hard US dollars. So it was it's a matter of time before, they start to move towards USDC. So from that competition, USDT is now trying to, clean up their house and make sure they have a better assets. So it looks like so they have now 13% USDT, treasury bills, and commercial paper fell 17%. So let's see how much is the commercial paper do they have now.
Is this on what, CNBC? Okay.
Yeah, it's on CNBC. So they are fixing their house because now they have a competition. I mean, 2 years ago, till now, they never had any competition. And so they could be holding any crap assets to back USDT. And everyone was, yeah, we don't have any other option. And, you know, we're trying to mint money on in this whole crypto world was okay. But now they got a competition. So I think they are cleaning up their house. So, which is good,
No, so
because Tether is the
Tron-
biggest one. If
Tron's
Tether
new
blows up like,
algorithmic stable coin.
sorry?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just commenting that Tron just released their new stable coin as well as live. Tron. Justin
Yeah,
Sun?
I mean, hasn't Justin Sun already lost the credibility? I mean,
Yeah.
he's been involved in a lot of controversies, and he comes and goes. You know, suddenly pops up to pump Tron. So almost for last 18 months, there was no news, not much news around Tron. Developers had left. Justin Sun himself had left Tron. Now I think he's back and trying to do something. And again, be careful when it is an algorithmic stable coin. I know even Cardano ecosystem, they are trying to release an algorithmic stable coin. But I've already seen the third one blow
Oh,
up.
really?
The UST has blown up. Cardano is doing, they call it JED, the JED. Rhythmic stable coin.
Kind of a funny story. So my friend, she sells WeWork tables. And then he sold a WeWork space to Justin Sun.
Oh, yeah. So Cardano has their own stable coin called the
I don't know.
Yeah, Algo stable coin. So I think it's gone. It says gone live in testnet. So probably is not available on the mainnet. But yeah, I'll be careful because this whole algorithmic stable coin, unless we understand how the peg will be maintained, these are a little risky. So I'm surprised to see that Cardano, because they do a lot of research before they implement anything. So maybe it could be the first one which in simulation would have shown that it could withstand any kind of a drops, but who knows. So yeah, so I'll be a little careful on any pump, because someone is releasing a stable coin, especially algorithmic stable coin. So far it hasn't worked out. I don't want to say that in future it won't work out, but it could. But I got to be cautious. History is not on our side when it comes to algorithmic stable coins. I mean, most of not, is anything happening on Tron? So Cardano is now 46 cents. It used to be around $2 some part of a time. Tron is on 7 cents. What's happening on Tron? I think to be
79
to be transparent, I do hold some Tron. I have like bought it a few years ago. I think that's probably a similar price, somewhere like 10 cents or something like that. But yeah, I don't have any hope on this one. I haven't seen much movement.
I'm not sure what the recent project.
yeah, on movement on Tron or what the projects. I think last I heard around was they are working with some company, not companies, some countries in Africa in helping them, setting up their blockchain strategy and running and setting up blockchain projects which will use Tron. But this is
Mm.
maybe a few months ago. Like that was the last news I knew about Tron, but I don't closely follow Tron anyway because it's it's very small, speculative holding I have. Doesn't really matter. But I don't see much news around Tron, so it's
Yeah.
like one of those GameStop or AMC kind of stuff. Hey, wait, suddenly something comes up and someone pumps it. Yeah, get out of it, kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have it. This is a bag that I have in my portfolio, but it's okay. It's a small, minuscule portion, so it doesn't really matter. What else? Yeah, so strange things on MicroStrategy. I don't know who's willing to buy MicroStrategy shares. So this is the classic, what do you call those fundamental analysis when you look at something is trading less than book value, right? So in this case, if I'm a value player, if I'm a value investor, I'm seeing a company is being traded less than the amount of less than the value of the assets that they hold on their balance sheet. It's a value play, or it's a value trap. I don't know, but it's an interesting dynamic. I noted today. Like, what's overall holding of MicroStrategy? That's 3.7 billion, but overall market cap means if you buy MicroStrategy, you pay 2.54 billion and you get all the Bitcoins, which is 3.78 billion.
Where do you get the treasury number?
This is a website.
Where do you get the Bitcoin treasuries?
Yeah, it's called bitcointreasuries.net. So on this website, basically they track, they look at all the news and then this, update it. So for example, MicroStrategy has, they also had a market cap here right here itself. So MicroStrategy has got 129,000 Bitcoins. Next is Tesla. Tesla hold 43,000 Bitcoins. This is Marathon Holdings, which is miner. They hold 8,000 Bitcoins. Square, Bitfarms, these are miner. Coinbase, Right Blockchain is a miner. Galaxy Digital Holdings, miner. Crypto company, Bitcoin, crypto, miner. Nexon. So these are all the miners. I think then Meitu is Hong Kong, China. I think it's a Hong Kong based.
China.
China. They also, I think they also hold Ethereum on their balance sheet. Yeah, so these are all the Bitcoin holders, and Mt. Gox, which has now gone bankrupt. Probably this might have been lost. This is that exchange. They still had 141,000 Bitcoins. So Ukraine government, because after the war, government of Ukraine opened up a Bitcoin wallet and solicited donations. So now they've received 46,000 Bitcoins in donations from all over the world. This El Salvador has got 1,000 691. Yeah, so this is the website where you can find who holds Bitcoins on their balance sheet.
But not the whales. These are not.
Sorry?
These are all the like companies. They're not like
companies.
Whales. Yeah.
Yeah, whales, you won't know the names. So for, I mean, you can look into many of these Glassnodes, or there are a lot of these companies which analyze the big addresses. but you won't know who that is. So this information is actually compiled from the, from the announcements,
Mhm.
right? Or from the filings. So something which is private, that you may not know, right? Because if you haven't filed an information, you haven't did a press release, then you won't know. So for example, we all know the Satoshi's wallet has got 1 million Bitcoins. Right? That's the biggest holder of Bitcoin. It's spread across 3 wallets, I guess 3 or 4 wallets. There's 1 million Bitcoin sitting right there. But we don't know who Satoshi is. There's a wallet which has got all those Bitcoins. Yeah. So yeah, interestingly, I don't know. So yeah, MicroStrategy is company is valued less than the amount of Bitcoin that they hold. And then I think this came in today or yesterday. JP Morgan now putting a stamp of approval. After all that, it's a fraud, it's a crap. Now they're coming around because now they sense money. And at the end of the day, Wall Street firms will go where they think they have a chance to make some money. Plain and simple. They don't have any affinity for any particular asset class. So if they think now that they can make hefty money by charging fee to their customers who want to have exposure to this, yeah, they'll talk positively about it. So yeah, I won't give any more credence to this statement coming from JP Morgan. Though in the financial world, this might be treated as an endorsement from the biggest bank in US. Right. So I think that they sent a letter to their private investors saying it is replacing its real estate with digital or crypto assets. So I guess when they say digital or crypto assets, it could be NFTs plus, these, what are those crypto coins? So, yeah. Right. Any other interesting stuff? I saw a lot of money continue to be raised. Andreessen raised $4.5 billion recently, even after whatever has happened to UST and Luna ecosystem. A lot of VC money continues to flow in. I think by this, as of now, it's almost $25 billion of VC money has flown to various projects.
So Vivek, how can we invest in Andreessen Horowitz?
I don't think that they have a funds which is for general public. You have to be multi-millionaire and be an LP for them, or have your own family office so that you can become an LP for Andreessen Horowitz. So you and I don't think we can. But there are other syndicates. For example, there's another VC who invested in Uber and Slack. He's a friend of Elon. Jason Kalanikas. So he runs a syndicate. The Calacan is, yeah, this one. So he was an earlier investor in Uber. I think that's where he got his success from. But he runs one of a syndicate in which people like you and I, we can go and be a part of, apply to be in the syndicate. And then we can invest into the companies or the projects that they bring to that syndicate. It's just like a real estate syndication. Similarly, on the VC, on the tech VC side, syndication is common. I see a lot of, a few, not Jason, but someone else had also approached me for being an angel investor through a syndicate. But I really want to make sure that I have a faith on the credibility of the sponsor or whoever is running that syndicate, right? Jason has earned his chops. I mean, he's been an investor for long, so I am an angel investor on his syndicate. But if he sponsors a crypto company, or basically if he invests as a VC in a crypto company and brings it to syndicate, yeah, I mean, I could invest a few $1,000s, right? Because that's the whole point of the syndicate, is every small players, retail investor can get a chance to invest in the companies which were so far reserved only for pension funds or big houses. So yeah, you can use the syndicate method, but I don't think Andreessen Horowitz investors, they create a syndicate. But Sam, if you're interested in these, I know Jason has a syndicate. If you're interested in this.
Yeah, thanks.
Again, venture capital investing, and it's nothing related to crypto, but venture capital investing sounds very interesting, because all we hear is, look at the money that the initial investors on Google made. Look at the 1000x money Jason made on Uber. But what we don't hear is that 100 companies that they invested in, only one Google came out. So if you're really interested in venture VC funding, make sure we have ability to invest in at least 20 companies. The failure rate is very high. The sponsors will give us all the rosy pictures of why the company that they're bringing is the best company, best opportunity, and is the next Google, is the next Facebook. But I would rather believe in the data. 95% of these VC funds fail. The startups don't survive. So invest in multiple companies. We want to be on the VC side. Otherwise, wait until the company goes public.
Vivek.
Yeah.
Everything I invested in last year doesn't look like it's going to turn out very good. But then on the other hand, you look at the Big 10 companies, it's also gone down close to 40%. What I'm saying is, when I decided to come back in the market last year, it was a bad time.
Samuel, no one has been able to time the market. So I never went out of the market. I've been riding through the whole volatility of the market. It is impossible to time the market. And are we at a bottom? I don't know. No one knows. Anyone who claims to know is probably not being truthful. So the only way, in my opinion, to win the market is to stay invested in it and reduce the cost basis. No one will be able to time it. So yeah, as compared to last year, yeah, we're down. I think the big investors, the hedge funds, everyone probably is down. So there's nothing new. And what's happening in the market is also nothing new. It happens. Many times it has happened in the world. The situation has been worse than what it is today. But despite all these things, good companies continue to become better. So I'm still invested and not changing my thesis. I mean, that's all I have to say. It's impossible to time the market. You might get lucky, but that's just luck. No one has been able to. Okay. All right, other thing I thought maybe we'll read through. I think that was all around the news, etc. And last, I reserve a section maybe to become a little more knowledgeable, little more, learn about little technology behind some of the projects. So I saw a nice blog from Consensus which talks about the layer 2 solutions. And what does that mean for Ethereum ecosystem? I mean, if you have an appetite to go through this, we can go through it, but this is on my reading agenda, not just this. I kind of have 3 things that I want to read for this long weekend. One is this, other one, this came in today. I saw Vitalik endorsing this particular guide. So I'm like, okay, Vitalik is saying that this is good, then I need to understand it. It's a really long read. So I thought, okay, I'll cover it on my long weekend. And the third one is MEV, which is a miner extractable value. The concept that I haven't gone deep and understand what exactly this means, how this works. This is equivalent to, front running in the normal stock market. But so I thought, for my long read or the long weekend, gonna learn, some new stuff. That's how we keep, that's how at least I want to keep learning and becoming educated on what's happening in this area so that we can identify good projects from bad and focus accordingly. Yeah. So that's all I had. I know we are hitting the top of the hour, but yeah, we can talk about, if we have some time, we can talk 1 or 5-10 minutes for something else.
Where's the article on the miner extraction value?
Okay. Oh, you need this link?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I can give the link for all 3. I will just put in this chat. This talks about MEV. This one is around Ethereum sharding roadmap. And this one is around L2 scaling solution. I mean, L2 I've been reading, so I have kind of fair amount of idea. But I think this talks about a whole consolidation. It talks about everything: Optimism, Arbitrum, ZK rollups. What are the companies in it? How does this optimistic rollup works? And then it looks at what are the major trends on L2s. Of course, it also compares with the Polygon POS, but Polygon, as you know, it's a
ZK rollups are.
Yeah. So Vitalik wants to go the ZK rollups way, but I think there is some time before we go there. So right now, most of them are optimistic rollups, but companies like Starkware they're using ZK rollups. So then, so if you're a new developer, where you should?
I think ZK is more secure, right? Because
eventually, I think
based on the premise that the
yes.
Sorry,
so
yeah.
Good article. Yeah, eventually it will. I think everything will move towards ZK rollups, and even that's why even the Polygon team, they know that. That's why they invested $400 million into buying a company which actually works on ZK rollup. So that would be the future. I hope the cryptography has evolved enough that we can use ZK rollups on all the DeFi related stuff. I think that was what kept ZK rollup from being implemented over past many years. The idea is not new. The idea of using ZK rollups has been many years old, but just that you could do it, use it for plain transactions like transfer of asset, but it would not have been able to use it for lending protocols, flash loans, all the DeFi related stuff. But I think now the cryptography plus the computations have become much more advanced, that we could actually support ZK ZK proofs for more advanced computations, not just transfer of value. And I think that's why now these companies are now starting building ZK rollups. In fact, Starkware, we just talked about funding. Starkware received $100 million funding this week and valued at $8 billion. So there's a lot of work happening. Okay, Samuel is saying Davos financier met up in the Swiss Alps and the mood was terrible. Yeah, I mean, they are all talking about inflation, which is true. We have seen food prices already raising high.
Vivek,
yeah.
I said that to just emphasize that people are pissed off.
Obviously, looking at the prices of food, and it's gonna get worse.
Oh, another thing.
I was in the US.
Sorry, you go first.
I mean, like how are the food prices in the US? Because I'm not there, so I'm curious.
So I can't talk about. I mean, I can't talk about meat prices because I don't eat. But otherwise, whatever I eat, there's all have gone around, up at least 25% to 50%. Some of the stuff. Look at even on those restaurant chains. You go to Chipotle, they increase their burritos and the bowl prices by 20%. Subway has become expensive. Which other chains? McDonald's, I don't go, I guess. And then there
McDonald's raised the price very little.
Yeah. I mean, McDonald's doesn't have any good veggie options, so I don't go to McDonald's. But even if you go to any, those normal restaurants, the food bill is higher, at least 20-25% than what it used to be a year ago. I go to one Vietnamese chain. I love their the veggie soup stuff, and it used to be $12. Now it is $15.50. So everything is expensive, has become expensive. And I guess when it comes to the beef fat sector, it's probably even more. But yeah, I don't have
it's
data.
Yeah, it's crazy here as well. Like oil has gone up. There's no chickens in the store because Malaysia banned the export of chickens. So we cannot find any chicken in the supermarkets or the wet markets. And everything has just increased. I think not by 25%, but I think maybe sometimes even 30%. Like the price of eggs has increased. Yeah.
Miss C, which country are you from?
Oh, right. Actually, my name is Chloe. I'm from Singapore. I'm based here.
Oh, wonderful.
I think I forgot who used to join. He joined. He definitely joins Saturday meetings, and sometimes he also joined this Thursday meeting. Someone else from Singapore. So we have.
Can I ask her a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Last night I saw or today I saw a lecture with your Prime Minister of Singapore, and all of a sudden I thought, does he matter any longer? I mean, when Lee Kuan Yew was around, and then I was in China. I'm an American, but I was in China for 30 years. We always cared what was Singapore, but now I'm back in the U.S. and I saw Lee Jr. and I was thinking, gosh, who cares? Does he matter any longer?
I can't really answer the question because it's recorded. Sorry.
No problem.
Wait.
You are on full liberty to decide which questions you want to pick an answer for.
We don't live in a free country, so.
Oh, excuse me, Chloe. I love living in China. It's not free. You have to be disciplined. It doesn't matter. I like living in China a lot more than I like it than the U.S. No, I don't like living here. But
Really?
yeah, no, I don't. As soon as I can take off to Taiwan, I'm out of here.
Okay. All right, we're done with crypto. Let's talk about something else. Yeah. I have
okay, sorry, now you go ahead.
No, I'm like I think I've been to Singapore only once in year 2000. I spent a week in Singapore. That's my only memory. I have some friends in Singapore, but I don't think I've ever visited after. It's almost 22 years since I last visited Singapore.
Yeah, I think it's really like for crypto, it's becoming quite a hub. Like a lot of all these like crypto founders are here and they're starting like ventures here.
Let me ask a question. There's a DBS Bank. Is that headquartered in Singapore?
Yeah.
I know DBS Bank has been very progressive when it comes to crypto related assets. I think was the CEO or who actually had participated in Consensus last year. And I was listening to what the gentleman had to say, and they seem to be pretty not Salon, DBS Bank. So I saw DBS Bank, I think was it CEO or someone, whoever was that. I mean, it was the best bank, the banker with the best knowledge of how actually crypto works. He had a good understanding of how blockchain works, how crypto works, how it can be useful for the DBS Bank to incorporate this technology. So I was pretty impressed by it. So it is Singapore-based bank. Okay.
Yeah. It's our first bank, like a national savings bank.
Oh, this is a national bank. And not a private bank. This is owned by Singapore government.
Yeah, it's part owned. So like the history is that it used to be a post office and it became a bank. So it was the first bank in Singapore. Before the 19th century. So it's a very historic bank.
Oh, okay, got it.
But yeah, I think crypto is huge here. Like in terms of the companies and the kind of activity. Obviously, I feel like the thought leadership still comes from the US.
Okay. No, okay. I remember seeing this gentleman in Consensus.
Oh, really?
He's the CEO.
Are you guys going to Consensus?
No, I attended last year online. So I don't think this year I'll be able to attend. But he had a lecture on, I think maybe there was a section around the crypto adoption in financial institutions. So I was pretty impressed. And like, what is this DBS Bank? Okay. He had a fairly good understanding of how they can use crypto and what can they offer to their institutional investors. But anyway,
I think a lot of people are jumping into this now. A lot of banks going to Web3 now.
yeah, banks will go where they sense they can make some money. But at the end of the day, I mean, I would really, if banks is really bullish on say these assets, then they should hold this on their balance sheet. Otherwise, they just make money out of fee, right? They don't hold it. It's like people, if their institutional clients wants to trade on these, or they want to take a loan against these, yeah, then banks make money through fee. So they will jump into it and say, yeah, we'll do it. That is why, when I see news like these, like JP Morgan, I'm like, yeah, I think it's good, but I'm not gonna go overboard thinking, yes, it's a great thing that has happened, because their customers want it. Bank will make money whether the Bitcoin go up or down, doesn't really matter. But if they start holding it on their portfolio on balance sheet, then it makes sense. Anyway,
but I guess they also have to answer to shareholders, which are pension funds or more traditional investors. So I think that's definitely one of the risks, as well as they have to mitigate and address the concerns, right?
That's why everyone is waiting for that ETF, because once you have an ETF, then you don't have to explain it to pension funds why you're holding it. Because ETFs, if something is an ETF, it means all the external risk around market manipulation, etc., has already been reviewed by SEC and have deemed to be non-existent or have a very minor impact. And that is why this whole ETF is becoming such a big deal, saying if we get ETFs, there's a lot more money that would flow in, especially from pension funds, from I think a pension and those other, let's say, government or city specific funds, because their charter doesn't allow them to invest in non-exchange trading or invest in, let's say, alternative assets. They can't invest into, let's say, a Masterworks company that you become a part owner of a Van Gogh painting. It is an asset class. People make money by investing in paintings, but pension fund can't. The charter doesn't allow. So similarly, they can't invest into crypto asset, but if there's an ETF, they can. So that's why we are seeing so many applications coming up for ETF, but so far US SEC has not approved it. Canadian is okay with it. Brazil is okay with it. US is not. So we'll see. Cool. All right. I think we are 40 minutes over time. So thank you for joining today. Had some good discussions.
Thanks, Vivek. You're wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Vivek.
You're too generous with your words, Samuel. I love reading about it. And if I can get some, patient ears to hear about it, that's great. I love to talk about it. Cool. Patience says thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Vivek. I'm going for a blockchain conference next week. I will let you guys know if I find anything interesting.
Sure. And which conference is there? Is this like local in Singapore?
Yeah, let me see the link. Give me a sec, yeah.
Okay, yeah, if you can paste this link.
But you have to pay for the webinar, which I'm not paying.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Where is it? So I will probably just go and look at the booths.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool.
Chloe, can you volunteer or get paid to work at the conference? Then you could go to some of the sessions. Oh, Vivek,
Hmm.
when I was in college, I volunteered for I don't know, a conference, and I was able to sit in a few of them, a few of the sessions.
Well, that's a good idea. Yeah. I think I don't think I can take time
Yeah,
off
let me put
from
it
my
in the
work.
chat now.
Okay. So,
Let me put it in the chat, and then you guys can see if you can go, because I think there's an online streaming as well.
okay. Marina Bay Sands. Gosh, I definitely want to go there. When I went, it wasn't there. This Marina Bay Sands, those hotels were not there then, 22 years ago. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. And if this is on the time which doesn't clash with my work, maybe I'll sign up and attend it. But nowadays, attending any conference, because the conferences become more and more difficult. Cool. Thank you for
I'm
sharing
sure they
this.
have it online.
Yeah, I'll check this out.
You're welcome.
Cool. All right. Good night, everyone. We'll talk to you on Saturday and otherwise next Thursday. Bye-bye.
All right.